morning, Aaron here. It is about 10:30, I think. I am off on a little nature walk. Just had to clear the head, just preparing to do some work, but I was feeling a little restless and it's really nice out, so I thought I would take the opportunity. I also wanted to take the opportunity to talk about creative ideas and songwriting and my experience with the Devin Townsend Creative Academy. It's really interesting because I only talk about songwriting with so many people, and you know, I have musician friends and we talk about like coming up with stuff here and there. But to be honest, sometimes in certain social situations it becomes a whole lot like dick measuring, where it's more of a competitive thing. And it's like, yeah, well, I know this. Yeah, well, I know this too. And I don't want to be involved in that at all, because it kind of takes away from the whole point of being creative. It's such a fulfilling thing, and I feel like ego's got nothing to do with it, at least when it comes to the creation of whatever it is that you're making in the first place. Maybe the ego comes in after the fact, after you think that you're responsible for this really cool thing that you made. And that's kind of my point, is it comes from this deep subconscious place, or if you want to think of like the collective unconscious or whatever you want to talk about, it just comes from a different place. And if you want to think of it as like you're the conduit or you're the channel to help facilitate this thing into being, you're there to help manifest it. It might sound a little cheesy, but I don't know how else to describe it. And to be able to do that, and by the way, I truly believe that everybody can do this. They just forget how to, because they're basically told to not be a kid anymore. But I believe everybody can do it. And being able to tap into that is just, I can't think of anything other than the word privilege to describe it. It's such a privilege, and it's an honor to be able to do that. And it's single-handedly one of the most self-sustaining practices I personally partake in on a day-to-day basis in some way, shape, or form. You know, whether it's jotting down a few words in between lessons, or humming like a little riff idea or a melody into my phone when I'm just waking up, or warming up to practice and then wind up writing like a whole song as a way of procrastinating practicing. It's all coming from somewhere that, for me at least, isn't a conscious thing. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And what's cool about it is that what I'm talking about right now is centered around the topic of an automatic songwriting technique that Devin Townsend describes in great detail in his online course. And I had been doing this all the time, but I never knew that this was kind of a thing that everybody else did. It's kind of like you don't talk about it, so you assume that it's like, oh, well, this is just how I do it. But it's really encouraging and just reaffirming to hear it coming from somebody else, especially when it's somebody of Devin's stature in the music world. And he's a creative genius, in my opinion, a huge inspiration, just a big musical hero of mine. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was the automatic songwriting technique. So what this essentially is when you just get an idea just out of the blue, where it just pops up. This could be from doing a number of things, and I think this has been like my bread and butter for most of my life, where I'll be doing some kind of mundane task where it's like, not that I sweep the floor much these days, but sweeping the floor, doing the dishes, taking the trash out, going for a walk, all that sort of stuff. And that will allow me to kind of like just space out and kind of tune out and get into my own head, and yet just kind of not have any real agenda. And that's what gets the subconscious mind kind of going. And fortunately, I am able to come up with many ideas that way. But especially since I'm in nature today, wanted to talk about this particular thing, because I've found that doing something routinely like taking a nature walk, right, can help just facilitate in an intentional way these automatic moments. So these automatic, spontaneous ideas. I always find that whenever I take a nature walk specifically, that I get these ideas, like whether it's a musical idea or an idea to do this into my phone right now, whatever it is. And what's interesting is that there was a pretty cool study on this subject about nature walks in particular, facilitating creative ideas, that was written by Dr. Noah Kageyama from bulletproofmusician.com. He's got the website and the podcast, so I definitely recommend you check it out. I'm grossly paraphrasing, but basically there was a study done where nature walks in particular help facilitate more creative ideas than other environments. I am a big advocate of environment playing a big role into your creative process, but it shouldn't just be one place. You know, I have my desk, I have, you know, my little recording set up, and that will produce a certain type of content. Usually it's like riffs, usually it's like drums, vocals, because, you know, obviously I got the laptop open. It's that station, it's that headspace. And it can actually be very draining there. So coming out here in nature revitalizes you in more ways than one, obviously, right? But the bonus is, because give it like, 10, 15 minutes, and then after a while you start kind of getting into this meditative rhythm. Try it out, see if I'm wrong about this, but I don't think I am. And yeah, you'll just be really surprised at what little things pop into your head, and it's so important to capture them, just like I'm doing with this right now. So I'm gonna shut up for a second so you can kind of see the lovely surroundings, and I'll be right back. So this is a beautiful little bike path that I have frequented over the last year since I moved to Cedar Grove, New Jersey, and it has served as a very trusted writing companion and therapist and outdoor gym, all of the above. And it's just awesome to come out here and just kind of escape into your own head and kind of soak in all this amazing light. It's a good way to practice your iPhone photography, you know, that whole thing. Anyway,